all of the things that we're discussing today in terms of functionality will be the same. All right. So when you log into Brightspace, this portion of Brightspace that we see right now is what we are going to refer to as the learning environment, or LE for short. Um, so you will sign in with your usual credentials. So for everybody who's in the test environment, like we set it up, you made your own password. At this point, we're anticipating it to be the same as you used for Marywood U, just like Moodle is currently. All right. And now we're going to talk about some different areas on our screen here. So this first area, this top white bar area, is referred to as the minibar. All right. And it does not have alcohol like a traditional minibar, unfortunately. But just a minibar. It's at the very top of the page, and it will always, always be there. There's a couple things that are here. First is our homepage button, which is over here where our Marywood logo will be. And then over on the right side, we have a couple different items. So the first one is our Waffle icon. And this will be where all of your courses are. All right. You can search for your courses here. If we have open courses for you to enroll in, if you search for them, they will come up. And then you will have the option to pin courses. So if you're like, all right, this is a course I use all the time, I'm going to pin it. And then later when we come back into it, I think I have to refresh the page. It will be pinned to the top for easy access. And then when you decide you don't need that one any longer, you can always unpin it. Are there any questions on the waffle icon? It is essentially our course search feature. In Moodle, this would be equivalent to our dashboard. The only difference is it doesn't have to open on that separate page. No, we're good? All right. Next up, we have this 3-section area. This is what we call the communication center. So the first one here is our envelope. We get message alerts, and it's for instant messages, and we can send an email. So if you click instant messages, they would show up here. It also has its own in-house email system. So if you wanted to add an email through here, there's still CCs, BCCs, traditional email like items, upload a photo, all of that fun stuff. And you can access sent mail. So it's a little more robust than we have currently, because in Moodle, we've just had the instant messaging. So now we'll also have the email and instant messaging. You could send an instant message. So far in our experiences, I haven't seen too much difference between the instant message and email. It would just be personal preference, which communication tool you would like to use. Any questions on that?
Kat, do you know, so if you email, do you have to go and log into the system to email them back?
I don't know, but Riley, if you make a quick note of that, please.
Yeah, sure.
We will definitely, we will check and figure out. I know that's one of the things with Moodle that personally drives me crazy. I'm sure it drives lots of other people crazy, because I go to respond and I forget I can't respond right there. And then you get that mailer demon and it's like, don't do that. So I will double check if it has the option to respond directly from an email if you get a message sent to you.
And can you send attachments with the email?
Yes. So down here at the bottom, you can upload attachments. If you already have files saved, you can. And then there's also the option for record, and you can record a video or audio note.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah. And then pretty much anywhere there's the text editor. This part wasn't really part of our conversation today, but there's a spell checker here. because I wasn't going to go too much about it, more overview, but so you can spell check specifically if you'd like. While we're in here, guess we'll look at the settings. So you can change, save a copy to your sent mail, send a copy to your personal email as well, if you'd like to have a copy in your Marywood email. You can add a signature here if you'd like, and then show external email addresses in the address book. So things outside of our immediate, because you'd be actually able to send email to non-Marywood people, I would think. But I don't know, I like this add CC or BCC item, because then if you happen to know a student's advisor and you're contacting them regarding an issue, you could always send it to the student and blind copy or copy their advisor as well. So that's nice to do from within the system. The next part of our communication tool is subscription alerts. And so that's basically for forum notifications if you're subscribed to a forum. So if you have a general questions forum set up and you're subscribed, you'll get a little notice here of those items, and you'll be able to click on it and go right to that forum without having to go into each class individually and look.
So is that like do you mean that's like the forum that's in the management system?
Yes. So the subscription alerts will give you notifications for discussions anywhere in the system that you are subscribed to. So if like we have a general discussion for the Brightspace as a whole and you're subscribed to it, you'll get notifications alerts. If in each one of your classes you have a general, like so in our OPI, I have that general questions forum and I'm subscribed to it. So I will get a notification here without even having to click into my course yet, because we haven't actually clicked into any course. We're just on our homepage. So when I log in, I'd be able to see right here how many new forum questions have been posted in those general question forums or whatever else I'm subscribed to. So it'll save me time because I won't have to go in and look at each one. So rather than right now, I click on the OPI, I click on general questions, and then I scroll through to see what's new, versus here, I'll just get a message that says, oh, you have new posts, and I'll be able to click on it and jump there right away.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. It's Fran. I know you said you were recording this, but is there also going to be a handout, like the wonderful handouts that Riley does?
Yes, there will be eventually for some of the handouts. Right now we have kind of like a rough document going over, so we'll at least be able to kind of clean that up and share it with you that says what each of these items are.
I'm appreciative of the video, but I have learned over the years. I always thought that I was visually oriented. I'm really textually oriented. So
Yeah.
to have it written down helps me a lot.
Sounds good. We will work on that. All right. So, and then the next one over here in the communications area is update alerts. So this generally it shows like posted grades or class updates. For you as much, you won't see it as much. It's more beneficial for the students, because then when you post a grade, they'll get a notification that says a grade was posted. Or if you have to update your content for any reason, or you change something, they'll get a notification that content was updated. So more for students' benefit on that one. Any questions on the communication center here on our mini bar? I'm trying really hard to use our proper terms, guys.
I think we have 2 questions in the chat.
Okay.
Leah asked, what's the link for our Marywood page?
So the Marywood one, I'm 90% certain will be marywood.brightspace.com. live site. So our site is built, but we haven't done all of the integrations yet. So it's not hooked up with the registrar to automatically build classes, which is why. So right now we just have the demo site. And if in the next month, Leah, I'm sorry, I don't remember because my brain is frazzled. If you don't have an account here and you would like one, we can add one for you in the demo account to play around with and work in. And for those of you that are building in here already, we do have it planned as part of our discussion to transfer your courses to the live instance as part of our setup.
Kat, I have another question. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet after this, probably. Well, probably not, but
No problem.
thank you. Back earlier this year, you gave me and Lori Swanchak Brightspace accounts.
Yes.
That's a real account for me even now?
Yes, on
Okay.
here, on this demo page.
Okay,
There's
perfect.
a real account here.
Yeah, I went in like the day that I got it, but I hadn't been back since then, and so I didn't know if that was temporary or if that was actually something I could noodle around.
Yes. Yes, you can, because it's in our demo space. So currently, I just have total control over the demo space. So it is a real account, and you can do whatever you want in your fake course to prepare, to play around with, to try.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep. All right. Our last area over here in the Minibar is kind of like our profile area. So here, let me make this big so you can see. And when you have it full screen, it'll come up here with your name. You'll click on it and get to see a couple different things. We'll look at this more in a little bit. And then over here, you kind of have some different settings and other areas you can get to. Yours will not have this much. Mine has lots of things because I'm the super admin person, but there'll be a couple different things that you'd be able to look at and utilize. One of the things that I would highlight here is video note captions. So when you're making those up to 30-minute quick video notes, there is a way to caption them through the system. All right. Any questions on our mini nav bar? Like I said, we'll go over some more of these profile areas in a little bit. All right then. Next up, we have this green bar, and this is our nav bar. So this will change depending on where you are in Brightspace. So on the Brightspace homepage, it just kind of has some overview areas. When you actually go into a course, that nav bar will change. So the mini bar has not changed, right? So here's our home button, our course search, the waffle icon, the communication center and profile area, but our nav bar has changed to go to all the relevant things you would need for a class. So that will change based on where you are. But so I think most of the names are fairly self-explanatory, and once you get in and kind of look at them, you'll be able to see different items. One of the things I like here in the help bar is the system check. So it'll tell you if your system has all of the correct settings to run Brightspace as best you can, which is nice. They have video tutorials here, and one of the benefits of Brightspace being not as customizable as Moodle was is that all of the tutorials for the most part are all relevant to us because we're really just changing like color schemes, not design features so much. So, and there's all these different things that you can click on. They have videos for everything. You can watch them in a different language if you want. Somewhere there's a Brightspace playlist in Spanish if you wanted to practice your Spanish skills or if that was your first language. So I think those are all nice. And then we have some that we can also, so getting started for Brightspace would be right here, and you could click on it and watch them. If you needed refreshers at any point in time, they're all easily accessible here. All right. Any questions on the navigation bar?
Um, how do, oh, no, never mind.
All right. Next up, down below, this area might change a little bit when we have our live instance as we go through and kind of pick, because all of these different items in here are widgets. So this is similar to the blocks that we had in Moodle. So like, you know, on the sidebar in Moodle, there would be like a block of different tools that you could select or different items, but these are all things that we will be able to customize as we build. So each block is a widget. So right now we have a announcement widget over here, a welcome center widget. So you can click on that if you're new to Brightspace and kind of go through it, and then the My Courses widget, which is nice because it also has the search. So you could search by what you have pinned, or you can search by semester. All right. Any questions so far?
Kat, this is Leah. I have a question. It actually goes back to something you said earlier. For the login, did you say that our login would be similar to our Moodle login?
Yes, I believe right now it will be the same because it'll all be based off the same directory system.
So the login we created in the demo won't be like I created a login that's Leah Doherty with a password.
Yes, so it should be different for the live one because the demo is like its own separate disconnected item.
So
But
it'll go back to ASSW33 and my garbly gook password.
yes,
Okay. All right. I thought you said that. Just so the demo that we're working in is separate from the live Marywood system.
yes. And so as part of our setup that's starting on Monday, they are going to, anything that you have worked on, they will transfer over for you.
Okay.
So that way you guys don't have to worry about transferring it or different things. But I will keep everybody informed of what those changes are and when it's happening.
Okay. So if I haven't done anything yet in demo, I should just hold off and do it in the live site.
I don't think the live site will be open until mid-August.
Oh yeah, then okay. So then build in demo.
Yeah, so I would definitely recommend building in the demo because the transfer part's easy.
Okay.
And that, like I said, we will take care of all of that, but I would definitely start building in here.
Okay. And I asked them how many courses are being piloted in the fall? Like, is there?
Let's see, in the fall, I think we have 20.
And are you going to do a support group for us that are doing this?
Yes. Yeah.
I think that would be really helpful because even that was one of the things in the OPI training that we taught us. It was so nice to
Yeah.
have that supportive so we can learn from each other that are piloting it.
Yes. So we will. I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't get one together for the OPIs. It's been too much. But for my early risers here, we will definitely, we'll probably end up doing like a doodle to determine like, or not a doodle, but like a Google form to pick like which day time would work best. And then we'll just hold that recurring every week or every other week.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Any other
think
questions so far?
I think we have a couple in the chat. We have one from Diane about adding pics and images to each week as she did in Moodle. She said her pics have been coming up as links that need to be clicked on instead of actual images.
All right. I will double check the steps for that because I have not added pictures to my own personal content. So I don't know without checking. But
Yeah, I haven't done that yet either.
Or, yeah. Or if we have time at the end, Diane, I'll try and do one now and we'll see what happens. I know it is possible because I have seen it done and I see it in the other courses. I just haven't done it myself yet.
Yeah, exactly. I think a bunch of the Brightspace training courses have pictures in them. I just don't know how they did it.
Yes. So we will double check. What else, Riley's in the chat?
Stephanie asked, will the live part be available for those who are piloting now? And should we build our course that is piloted in Moodle first and then have it moved over? So like, should we build it in Moodle and then move it over?
If I would recommend building it in Brightspace, only because even with Moodle, the like most of the pieces, like they transfer over, they might be slightly off. So you might have to reorganize if you build in Moodle and then shift it over, because it may just put it out of order, because it may not have the exact thing lined up within each week. So like if you have something week 1, when you transfer it to Brightspace, it will stay in week 1, but your 5 assignments could possibly be in a different order. And I've transferred my course directly from Moodle to Brightspace. Like I backed up my course in Moodle and just uploaded it to Brightspace, and all of my stuff is there, but it's not as pretty or as organized as I would want it to look. So I still had to spend time like going through and reorganizing. So I'm too much of a perfectionist about it, at least right now in the summer when I'm gung-ho and feel like I have lots of time to prepare, that I even just like I deleted my course and started over, because I would rather build from scratch in Brightspace.
When
And
I transferred mine over, it said it was too big. So I had to do it in chunks.
That's also good to know, Amy.
A lot
Mine
of
was not too big.
No, I'm sure I did it wrong, but just FYI, if anybody else. Yeah, because I thought I had already transferred it over and I saw it, and then I went back and it was gone. So then I tried a second time, and then that's when it said it was too big. So.
All right. Maybe we did something on the back end that made it
No, I'm sure
disappear on you. I'm sorry.
it was me.
All right. Anything else in the chat, Riley?
There's one more. Can you give us access to a few courses from faculty as examples?
So I can give you access to a few. I don't have any that I have personally built all the way yet, but the nice thing about this was that it came with courses already. So one course that I have in here that I did kind of build, well, I imported, was the course outline to get started. So I think I added everyone to this. If you do not have access to it, this is already a course in Brightspace that they made. And it's about different ways you can organize your course in Brightspace. And one of the nice things I like about it is these outlinings, or the outlines. It tells you which outline they recommend for which type of course. So like when you click on it into a module here, you can kind of go through depending on where you want to start. And it will say, here, you might want to have a video introduction, objectives, and But if you click through this, this is a sample of a course about how to build a course. But there are other ones that I can add people to if you would like. Like they had some in here already. ABC of assessment was one of theirs. They also have a generic course in here about active listening. So if you would like to send me an email, I will add you to, or if everybody wants, I can just add everybody to some of these. Oh, I don't think that's a generic one. I think that's actually Zhang's. Does it?
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, I was like, it sounds generic, but it's not. Active listening. So it comes up with a course. The course has the homepage, and then in the content area, you could go through, you could look at the table of contents for different courses.
Would
But
you
I will
just
add,
click on, like module 4 or something after it gets through all the intro stuff
yeah.
for that course?
So module 3, and it gives a sample different items. Here, this would be helpful
Oh, good.
as a student. So as a student, I could go into module 2 and click on an item. Doo-doo. I think we need to up our internet between the streaming television, my husband working from home, and me working from home. But so it'll give you a sample of what it looks like. This is also one of the nice things about Brightspace is that students can access all of the documents without downloading them. They're automatically embedded in the courses, and then they have the option to download if they'd like.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
So, and I apologize if you've already gotten to this. So, in each week, I would do like a paragraph or two, introducing the topic. Here's how to navigate through the week. Where does that go in this format?
So, hold on. I want to find a better course example because this one's not awesome. Because it's just more showing you the different things. Let's see. All right. So this is like a course homepage. And then on content here, it would be on this opening page. Now remember, I'm viewing as a student. So you'd be able to have your introductory information at the top, and then you can do different things down below. So this might be a good course to put everybody in, because when you look at the table of contents, it tells you how to add your syllabus, add existing content, creating content, and the grade tools. But if I go back to my regular view here, so you'll click on content to add anything to your course, right? There's a space to add your syllabus, and then on table of contents, all of these items here on the add module, you'd click it here to add a module. But it would come up, and this area you can edit at the top just by clicking on it. It'll say like, click here to add this. And then you can do that, and then all of these items down below are by upload, create.
So that video that you said you could do 30 minutes, does that go up where the picture is?
Yeah, you could add it up there.
That will show up there? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do it in that spot. You could do it in a couple different spots, but I'm gonna digress for now because we can talk a little more about that later because I want to get through our couple things here first. But if we have time at the end, Amy, we can go over it more if you would like. All right. So a couple other things that I wanted to talk to you about so you know how to do them. The first would be to manage your notifications for in Brightspace. Hold on 1 second, please, so I can yell at my children because I don't know if you can hear them screaming, but I can. They're being very loud and obnoxious.
If you want, Kat, I can take over for a little bit.
Okay, that'd be great, Riley.
Yeah, sure. I'll just take the presentation from you real quick. Okay. I think we're sharing. So to set up your notifications, you would just go up here to your minibar, and right in the profile area, you would click on your name, and then notifications is like the second thing you could click on. And what you want to do here is set up how you want to get notifications. So the really nice thing about Brightspace is that you can actually add your mobile number so you can get text notifications about anything you want. You could also obviously get email notifications, and it defaults to your Marywood email, as you can see here, but you can change your email settings to a different email. You can trash this one and add an email you use more frequently if that's how you want to do it. You can also register your mobile number, and it tells you to select your country and your carrier and then your number. I believe they send you a little like code to confirm that that's your number, and then you'll see it added here. You can choose to get like a digest of activity, either daily, weekly, or never, depending on how often you want a summary of activity, how connected you want to be to your courses. But down here at the bottom of the notifications page is where you have all the different notifications you can possibly have. So there's things like announcements, like when one is updated, So that might be good for students. When a new announcement's available, when content is created, when assignments feedback is released, for portfolio that we haven't set up yet, grades and quizzes. It's really nice to just kind of set up your email notifications just by checking some boxes. If you added your mobile number, you would just click on those boxes too. And this is something you can advise your students to also set up because everyone has access to this notifications page, but you can't like force it to happen. You can just tell them that it exists and tell them that they can set up their notifications through this page. But it's a really nice little feature that Brightspace includes.
I do have, for everyone who's an early riser, if you're transitioning early, I do have a little portion to put at the end of your syllabus if you would like, that says like Brightspace recommendations. And so one of them is like set your notifications, and it tells them how to get here so that way they could set up text notifications if they would like, in addition to you possibly reiterating it in a video or some other place in your course.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good little move. Are there any questions about that? I know I heard a little chat ding.
No, it was just me, Riley.
Gotcha. Okay, just making sure. I think the other thing we wanted to talk about was making an announcement, right? I think that's what
Yes.
was on the
Yeah.
agenda. So there are two ways you can do it. It kind of looks a lot like Moodle, so you should be pretty used to it, especially if you've been in the OPI and you had to make an announcement. I'm going to start by clicking on the home page just so I'm at a basic level. And then I'm going to click on one of my courses. And when you're in your course, you'll see obviously your Navbar with all of these different tools, and you'll also see your widgets. So you'll probably see an announcements widget, at which point you can just click on this little downward caret, and it gives you the option to add a new announcement. So you can click on that here to open it right up, or if you're somewhere else in your course and you want to make an announcement, you can just click on Course Tools, and Announcements should be the first one. Both pages will give you the option to make a new announcement, and then the new announcement page looks exactly like this. So you have a little headline area, so I can say like announcement 2 or something better than that. And then there's a content box where you can add any text that you like. You can add different like videos and pictures by clicking that little insert stuff icon. You have all these options for picking files from your computer, from YouTube directly, or any links that you might have. You also have the option to insert images directly. We'll probably talk about this specific thing in a later training, but you can insert a quick link to an assignment or a quiz right into your announcement so that they can click on that link and go right to that activity in your course. You can bold, italicize, underline as you would normally, and then any sort of font family you would like, size, and color. And of course, with every text box that's in Brightspace, you have your spell checker, you also have accessibility check, and you have the HTML source editor that Moodle also had, and you can also make this full screen so you could see the entire text box without just working in this little space. So once you create your announcement with the text and everything, you can go down to the availability and you can set your start and end date if you want to put an end date on it. So this is the same as your display dates in Moodle. So you just change your date here and your time. It defaults to as soon as you open up the new announcement, so you can click now to update that time. You could change the date to whatever you like. You could always, or sorry, you can also choose to show the start date if you would like. So if you want students to know that you started this on July 10th, you can, but if you want to keep that hidden, then you can also uncheck that and the date becomes hidden. You can choose to add attachments like files and recording audio and video. And then there's some release conditions that I haven't really played around with. I don't know if you have, Kat, but
I haven't played around with them, but so like just like in an assignment in Moodle where you can set a release condition, like they had to have completed something else, or it has to have, they might have to have a certain grade or something. You can add release conditions that are all over the place. I haven't even thought of the best way that I would want to use those yet. But like maybe if if a student's doing poorly, I might say, hey, I'm having an extra session on this date to review this remedial topic, and it would target those students versus a student, who has a 98 and they might not need to be there or whatnot.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. I definitely agree with that. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to the announcements. You can make it as crazy or as simple as you like. Just remember to publish at the bottom, or you could always save it as a draft if you want to work on it later. But publishing brings you right back to the announcements page where you can see the text and when it's going to start and if it's published or drafted. And then if I go back to my course homepage by clicking the name of my course, it's right here in the announcements widget with the headline and the text right there, so students can see it.
So on the student side, when you make an announcement, it will show up on that bell icon at the top. There'll be a little notification there that there's a new announcement. So when they log in, they can see right away that there's an announcement for your class and click on it directly. Or if they have signed up for text notifications, they will get a text message with the course announcement that says like your course has a new announcement if they wanted to get it right away, or if they've chosen to download the Brightspace app and they have their push notifications turned on, they'll get that little pop-up message on the top of their phone that says, hey, you have a new course announcement. So there's a couple different ways that they'll be able to be notified of that information based on their preferences.
All good things.
All good things. All good things.
I think that's all I remember putting on the the briefing sheet today. But are there any questions that you guys have about anything we've talked about?
I'd like to just review a minute. So from the announcement page, because I can put in a video on the announcement page or an attachment on the announcement page, can they then go directly from there to the activity? Is that what I heard you say?
Well, actually, yes. So in any content box anywhere in Brightspace, there's this nifty little insert quick link button. And I don't have any content in this course, so this will be not very useful as a demonstration. But when you click Insert Quick Link, it gives you access to your announcements. So if I wanted to refer to a previous announcement that I had, I could do so. Any assignments that you have built in, the calendar, like any calendar events. If you have course files that you want to reference or a discussion forum, like there's so many things in here that you can refer to in this quick link area. But maybe if I click announcements, it'll show me the announcements I have. If you were to click on assignments, it would show you all your assignments. And then I can just click on it and it quick links right into the announcement or content box. So literally anywhere you can type text in Brightspace, this is something you can do. And then when you post this announcement with a quick link attached, the student can then click on this link and go right to whatever you linked them to. So if you had an assignment and you made an announcement saying assignment 1 is due Friday, you can link assignment 1 and then they can click on it and go straight to the page where you explain what it is and where they can submit their assignment. So it kind of makes everything more cohesive so the student can just go right to the thing you're talking about instead of searching for it in the course.
I'm really interested in this for two reasons. One, I'm going to ask you the question about where is that quick link you just mentioned. But the second thing is, this means they can jump. So they don't have to go to week 1 or the module for week 2 and scroll down the whole course. So in one way, it's very quick. In another way, I want to say, does it lose organization? I mean, the organization is there if I put the organization in, but they're skipping a lot. So.
Right. Well, I would say if you were doing something like this, an announcement referencing an assignment, they probably would have already gone through the content, and this is just a reminder of when that assignment is due. Okay. I would assume. Could be wrong. You never can tell.
I can have on a checklist or an announcement, read over week 2.
Right.
Certainly.
Yes. And you could also, depending on your assignment, if you have it set up for release conditions, like you might say they can't access assignment 1 until they've completed the readings or like completed a different thing first. So even if they were to click on it there, it would say you don't have access to this until you do this.
Okay.
So depending on how much time you want to put into your setup, you can force them into that order, which for undergrads might be beneficial.
And where is the quick link?
Sure. I'm zooming in on my screen. I think everyone can still see it. It's this little sideways chain link. It's like diagonal. It's
Yeah, I
the
see.
third icon in from the left. And then when you click on it, it brings up that list of course materials.
And then you say insert quick link.
Yep.
Okay. All right.
Thanks for the question. Does anyone else have anything? And did we
I'll
forget
just
anything?
I'll just throw out, because Tammy put it in the chat, and I think it's a good question. If you didn't have a chance to read it yet, she asked if there will be training for students. And the answer is yes. For everybody that is transitioning early in the fall, I have a dummy course for you to upload to Moodle that basically is like a one-pager that just says, hey, your course is in Brightspace instead of Moodle. You're part of our early riser program. Here's the benefits for you. Here's some trainings that you can attend to sign up for. I also have an informational sheet like that to go at the beginning of your syllabus, as well as I have like the Brightspace recommendations, 3 small things to put like at the end of your syllabus to say like, now that you're in Brightspace, here's some things you may want to do in terms of like setting up your notifications. Riley, if you want to go up real quick and click on your profile.
Mhm.
All right, and then go down to account settings. So in the one of the other things that I recommend for the account settings is that you can change your font size here. So if you prefer a medium or you need a large font, or if you'd like a bigger font, you can change that. But a lot of these other settings down here are geared towards students with accessibility issues. So they can change things that best meet the needs of like their screen reader or what they need. So it says if you need those, you can change those. And so I direct them to there too. So you can see for video settings, it says like check a box, optimize it for programmatically driven assistive technologies. So that'll be nice. And then, they can change their locale and language. I think it actually has 14 languages, or no, maybe not 14. But so for our English as a second language students, they can actually change it to match their native language, possibly, depending on where they're from, to something that they may be more familiar with than English. So lots of fun things in there that they can go through that we kind of guide them to. But then, of course, we will have additional like campus-wide opportunities for students to attend training sessions as we plan our full transition for like May.
I'm going to teach a course to the African sisters, and I don't know what the other, I have an email into Rosemary Shaver. I don't know what the other instructors are going to do. I think the students are going to get an introduction to both Moodle and Brightspace.
Right.
But it might, I wouldn't mind doing Brightspace, and if I'm going to do Brightspace, I'm going to ask you for a demo, Shell. But
yeah.
That's why I'm interested in this. If I'm not doing that, well, then I'll go back to Moodle. But they're beginning students.
Yeah. But yeah, we can see whatever you think is best, and we could always show them. Like I said, I think from the student side, it's a little easier because there's less clicking. And then for you guys as well, in terms of the creation. So here, I'm going to steal it back for a second, Riley.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Go over. Alrighty. All right. So when you when you're in your course, all right. Mine also looks different because I was just testing things out. So like there's even a visual navigation bar that we could do. I'm not a huge fan of it. I want to change it back. But so if you're building in your course and you're trying to do your like your actual course content for the first time, I would begin by clicking on content. And then down here are all of these different modules. So you can go ahead and at the bottom, like whatever modules you normally do. So like if you do week 1, you type week 1 and hit the word enter, and it automatically shows up here. So you can add dates and restrictions to it. So like if you wanted it to be only like open during the week that it's assigned, you could do that. I don't know if you can hear my son laughing like a maniac. But then next up is this, sorry, mine shows up a little bit weird. Riley shows up nicer. But add a description. So here is where I might put that overview for the week that like Amy had mentioned, like the 30-minute video. So then here you can see upload, create, and there are all of these different items here. So you could even add like assignments or stuff there. Oh no, I'm in the wrong area because mine's weird. I'm sorry. Maybe this will help. There. So you can go ahead and begin typing in this area. Sorry, guys. My computer is on its last leg. It's like, you have used me too much. But here is where you would add that video. And those different items, and you can click update, and all of that would be at the top. And then up here with that upload create is where we could add new assignments or a checklist, and they show up below. And you can change the submission type. The nice thing eventually when we go back into in-person classes is that if you would like to do other items like an on-paper submission or observed in person, there's a way to denote that here with your assignments. So that way the student isn't looking to submit something and it's clear for them as well. But I'm going to leave it as file submission. Type some nonsense and hit save. And it will show up in test 1. It takes you right to it, so that way you can add all of the different items for your assignment. So you can make it required, you can add dates, how many files. Basically everything is editable when it comes up with the highlight. All you have to do is click on it, and then you'll be able to change it to whatever you're looking for. And then if you want it to be part of the grade book, you can do that as well. We'll talk more about the grade book, I think, at one of our later sessions. We have that scheduled. Learning objectives, you won't have anything to do with right now because we haven't built those, and we're not going to do that till the live one. And then you'll have a completion summary. As students go through it later, you'll be able to see the status of all of your students in different areas and sort them. But on the home page here, or not the home page, on our week 1 page, you'll be able to see like here's where the video is, and then here is the assignment. One of the nice things here is that you can also add submodules. So like if you had, the way I started to do mine, I have chapter 1. So up at the top here, this is where I'm going to put my week 1 resources. There we go. So my week 1 resources will be up here, and then I'm going to have the items that they need to do in week 1 and the items that they need to do in week 2. And these are just submodules that I made. So I'll go here and I'll upload or create and say, all right, here's my assignment that they have to do for week 1, if that makes sense. That's at least how I'm planning on organizing it, because I didn't want there to be 15 weeks here. Like a lot of this stuff down at the bottom I have to get rid of and is junk. But I thought having 9 chapters was better than the 16 weeks because I wanted it to be a little smaller. But, and then bookmarks are nice because those are things like you can bookmark select areas. So if you have something important or like the midterm or an ongoing project, you'd be able to do those together. But and let's see. Are there any questions on that? It's just kind of a loose guide. We were geared more today on just what the things are in Brightspace and kind of those basic items. But since we had a little bit of time, and I know some of you are working already, that's kind of where I would head to as you're getting started. All right, let's see, we still had, oh, sorry, I'm on the, adding a picture. Oh, Riley, do you want to share again and share your screen because yours computer makes it prettier than mine because I need to update my browser.
Yeah, sure.
And we can go through adding a picture together for Diane.
Okay.
See what we come up with.
All right.
Everybody else, if you're not at that point yet, if it's 11:27, if you'd like to go, if you have any other questions before you go, let us know. All right. So
learn to put pictures in.
yeah, so right now we're going to go over adding the picture because Diane said she was having trouble with it. But so at the end of this, we will send out the recording and we will send out kind of a document of what the different areas are. Just kind of a learning environment overview.
Alrighty. So I believe step 1 would be to go to content.
Yes, and then let's go add a module, name it whatever, and then click on that add a description area.
Okay. So then no, maybe it's insert picture instead of insert stuff.
Yeah. While Riley's locating a picture, one of the nice things that we will have as part of this is learning repositories. So you'll be able to set up a learning repository for your department or for your program, so that way you guys can all have resources to share. And when you choose insert stuff, you can say insert stuff from learning repository. So everybody who's teaching English 180 could have a list of assignments in the English 180 repository. Or art therapy, you guys could have your own repository, so you could save activities there for everybody to use, which I think will be nice in supporting our adjuncts and stuff, especially as they come on or different things. But.
Okay. I got a picture in there. So I guess it worked.
Right.
But I can go back over what I did to do that because I realized I didn't talk over it.
I don't know. I think we lost Diane also.
Oh, okay.
Name here.
But
But
this is still recorded, so we can still kind of go over it.
yeah.
Though I do want to view it as a student just to make sure it comes up. Student.
Oh. Yes, guys. So you will all have that also. I don't know if we talked about it, but when you click on your name, it'll have view as at the top and you can click on it.
Oh yeah, you can either do your most recent one if you did a recent role change, or click change, and then you have different roles you can view things as.
Yes, you probably won't have that many, and yours will most likely say view as a student, so you should be good to go there.
Okay, so I'm gonna go to content. So the picture did come up.
Yeah, it's a fun picture. Look at the cute puppies.
So pretty.
So let me ask a question about this view as student. Do we all, I realize you guys have more options because of your roles as administrators. But would we always be able to view something as a student just to make sure it looks the way we want it to look for them?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, that will always be there for you.
When I was doing the announcement for the OPI course, I did a video, and then I wanted to also do text, and then I couldn't do the text. And I mean, like I didn't know where to put it, or it wouldn't go anyplace. So is it that should do text first and then do a video? Now that was Moodle, but I mean, maybe it's relevant. Like, for example, there's this nice picture, but what if somebody wants to add, look at the funny pink? Can they do that?
So the answer is yes, and my guess is going to be that it's just weird the way the cursor works when it's next to a video or a picture.
Oops.
Okay.
Yeah, like for example, if I click to the right of this picture, you can very slightly see the cursor, so I have to hit the Enter key, then I can add text underneath. Okay. It's probably the same thing with the video in Moodle, because I've seen that before. The cursor is just very large next to the video, so if you click the Enter key, then you'll go below it and you can type text as well.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So to kind of go over how I added this image, I'll delete it. When you go into your module and you click on that added description, you can then click on Insert Picture, which is just the camera icon here. And you have a couple options. If you had a URL for the picture from like Google Images or something like that, you can click on URL. Or if you had, like Kat was saying, repositories, we might have shared files. Don't quote me on that. But My Computer is where you can go to then upload and search your computer for a picture. And then once you find it, you double click it, and you can tell that it's going to upload because the name of it is here, and there's no error message or anything. If you pick the wrong one, just click the X and you can do the upload again. But then you just click add, and because they have a big focus on accessibility, you have to provide some alternative text. So just something simple like picture of animals. Click OK. I already had it in here, so I'm just going to overwrite it. But then the image is here. And you can also, I believe, like center it if you need to, because mine was definitely to the left. It'll make it look a little nicer on the course page. And now I need to zoom out. Okay. Click update, and then it should actually show. So not too bad.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. For some reason, I can't scroll now, so I wonder what that's about. I'm just going to refresh the page.
Yeah.
Is there anything else we should go over?
Anything else, guys?
So if we need a demo page, we just email you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, just email me and let me know. And then, yeah. That's it. Let me see you real quick. I remember. So we're also next Friday at 10:30. And next Friday, we're going to be talking more about the actual items to build your course. So creating content pages, sharing files, and then that inline video and audio tool. So that's next week. And then the week after that is our toolkit part 2. So that's where we're going to do more of the outside elements like discussions, assignments, and quizzes. But the next 2 weeks will be more about those items. We don't have anything specifically picked out for August yet. We had talked about maybe some just open workshops where we could all hang out together and you guys could work on your own muted. And if you have a question, Riley and I would be here to help answer as you work on it. If you have any specific ideas for topics in August that you might like as you start to explore more the next couple weeks or have been exploring, please let us know. And that's that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you.
All right, we're going to stop the recording.